Hey, what's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Look for Jonathan Hood Show, of course, Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Just hit that subscribe button. Like, share, subscribe, comment on everything that we've done. We are growing so much in our podcast and our YouTube as well. Thank you so much for helping us grow. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your family during this holiday season. I'm grateful for you because I wish I could say it's me, but it's really you that's helping us grow, not only here on YouTube and on the podcast, but also the Cap and J Hood Morning Show, weekday morning, 6 to 9 Central on ESPN 1000 and on the ESPN Chicago app. We have fun talking to you about everything under the sun, sports, and everything else. And also an offshoot of that is right here on YouTube. We have the ability to take super chats now. So as you watch our show, if there's something that you want to say, make sure you put in the comments, and we will talk to Charles Taylor from the CTJReport.net. He is with us here as we talk Bears and everything else under the sun right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Merry Christmas to you, sir. How are you?
Good. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.
We are presented by... You're saying, sir?
It's been an exciting weekend, hasn't it? It's been an exciting weekend, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, it has been. Kwanzaa come early with the Chicago Bears being the Green Bay Packers last Saturday, as we were presented by Triller TV. Oh, the good friends over at Triller TV. They take care of us. Think about this. You want to see combat sports, whether it's pro wrestling or boxing or MMA, not just in the United States, but across the country and around the world. Triller TV, a fine partner of the Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood podcast. Hey, I watch the stuff that I need to see as far as pro wrestling internationally and boxing and a lot of combat sports. Go to Triller TV and make sure you download the app. You get all that you need there from our friends at Triller TV. So, Charles, we've talked a lot on Under the Hood about the Chicago Bears, and I just couldn't be happier for what the Bears have done this season. But I think even though the season's not over, I'm not sure if we're going to get a bigger moment than what we saw on Saturday night against the Green Bay Packers, because you talk about pulling it out of the fire, right? To be able to be down and less than pedestrian offensively and then find a way to win that football game with all three phases. That's something, man. When you got 5 minutes left in your offense, defense, and special teams, fourth quarter and overtime making plays. Couldn't be happier for where the Bears are right now. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. This was their 6th win this season alone. I believe where they were trailing with less than 2 minutes to go or 2 minutes ago, and they find ways to win all of those games. This one was looking bleak for 56 minutes of that ball game where they just couldn't get anything going offensively. Credit to the defense that they were able to kind of keep the game within reach because even after Jordan Love went out, I mean, Malik Willis came in and it just looked like they didn't miss a beat almost. And he was able to control Green Bay's offense. But it's just like you talked about, they find a way, the drive that takes too much time, makes it 16-9, and you're forced to do the onside kick, and then the onside kick works. And then Caleb's able to drive the team down and get the game time, touchdown to Ja'Day Walker. Dude had 8 snaps all season before making that touchdown grab. And you just kind of felt the energy just completely, flip on his head. And you went from despair to anger to elation. It was one of those games that you're going to run that back, for years and years to come. And who better to do it against than your arch rival in the Packers?
I want to talk to you about number 18 because I have a number of stats I want to talk to you about regarding this quarterback we have, good old number 18. Here's some thoughts about Caleb Williams I was researching. So NFL researcher on X says that the most pass yards lost due to drops this season, number 7's Cam Ward, number 6 is Jordan Love, 5 is Bo Nix, followed by Dak Prescott at 303, Matt Stafford 306, Trevor Lawrence at 319, and Caleb Williams 352 yards lost due to drops this season. He is number one in the league, Charles, in yards lost due to drops, 352. There's a lot of strange things about this Bears team. But I know that might be number 18 or 19 of the strange things about this team, that you're 11-win ball club, and yet there's a lot of things going against you. But that's a fresh stat I just threw your way. Was it about Caleb Williams that even though that he's had some receivers not coming through, Zacchaeus, that yet the Bears are still flourishing?
He has an insane belief in himself to come up with the big play, the big throw, the right decision at quarterback to be able to get this team in situations to win. It was after the Browns game where they blew the Browns out, and a reporter asked him about that touchdown pass that he threw to DJ. And it was like, hey, don't you think that was an ill advised throw? It was kind of a dangerous throw. And he snapped right back. Caleb said, I can make any throw. I can make any throw. And we've kind of seen this throughout the year. He's made some unbelievable throws where you're like, how did he make that pass? How did he see that lane? How does he know that he can fit it into that tight of of um, uh, of a space to find a wide receiver? That starts with just him believing in himself as a quarterback that he can make that pass. He can make that throw. Now we've seen gunslingers in the past, where they believe in themselves too so much, but they also make some really, dumb passes. Here's the other thing about Caleb. He doesn't turn the ball over. That's the thing. He makes these unbelievable passes. Some may say ill advised, some may say
Yeah.
dangerous, but he makes these throws and he doesn't turn the ball over. That's the stuff of, elite quarterbacks. And I don't have a problem right now saying that that's the trajectory for Caleb Williams is trending towards elite. That is how he has always envisioned himself, even at USC. He's carrying that over into the NFL, and he's got the right coach in Ben Johnson to just bring that out of him. They believe in this kid. The team believes in him.
Here's another stat for you regarding Caleb Williams. This is from Pro Football Focus. Caleb Williams, when blitzed this season, 16 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,567 total yards. So we talk about growth from one year to the other, Charles. And so here's an opportunity when you're sending 5, 6, when you're sending a number of blitzers, the ball gets out of the hands of Caleb Williams, or he's going left or he's going right, running away from pressure, and he's able to get the ball down the field to be able to get first downs, or running to try to get first downs. That's growth of Caleb Williams as well. It's strange because we really need to hone in on this, if you don't mind. When we take a look at Caleb Williams in the offense, like an old car in the winter, it's hard you put that key in and you're waiting for that car to turn over. And we didn't see it turn over for about 3+ quarters because you're saying, oh, shit, here we go again, right? Here we go with no points in the first half. And it's not like Caleb Williams and the Bears had a lot of opportunities offensively. I understand that because the Packers are out there 27% of the time in the red zone and still couldn't punch it in. But at the same time, no, San Francisco, Detroit playoffs, you can't be waiting until the fourth quarter of every game to say, okay, now it's time. I felt that there was a sense of urgency in the fourth quarter. I don't know if you noticed it as well. When the Bears got the ball, all of a sudden the running game got more electric. All of a sudden now you start – it's like, hey, man, you've got to be able to get off the quicker starts. However, that blitz number, that shows growth. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, you can see it. The eye test doesn't lie. You can see how he reacted to blitz schemes last year, as opposed to this year. He just has the confidence to be able to one, trust his coach, was something he didn't have last year. Two, he's able to trust, especially the interior of this offensive line. Uh, Again, something he didn't have last year. And then three, the ability to say, okay, I'm going to get I'm going to throw this ball out there. I know my guy's going to get it. Whether it's DJ, whether it's been Rome earlier on in the year,
Yep.
Colston Loveland, has developed into a safety, net, if you will. Cole Komet's been there. So he's the maturation from year to year with Caleb, starts because one, he believes in himself, and then two, he's got some pieces around him that he feels he can trust. I don't know if that trust was necessarily there last year, so he tried to do a bit too much, tried to play hero a bit too much. I think he's understanding the system that he's under with Ben Johnson, and he's been able to run this offense in the fourth quarter uh, in an amazing fashion. I think the Bears are like the number one team in the fourth quarter when it comes to scoring and yards. They find a way to get it done, and this is why they're here sitting at 11-4 with a chance to wrap up the division this weekend.
Got one more stat for you regarding Caleb Williams. Okay.
All right.
This will make you feel good and make Bears fans feel good when I give this number from Eric Lambert, who I need to follow, looks like, from Sports Mockery. Lead Bears writer, insider for Sports Mockery, Eric Lambert 1. It's Eric spelled with a K. Follow him because he's got great stats. He says, I've said forever that you'll know when the Bears have the right quarterback based on how he plays against the Packers. Now, I personally think that's bullshit because I'll take a Super Bowl championship if we lost to the Packers twice. It's like that's not the deal, man. Like if you get to the Super Bowl and don't beat the Packers, like what are you gonna say? It's like, it doesn't count. Oh, it counts if you get to the top game and win it, right?
Right.
But there is a number that I do want to give here for about Caleb Williams. I think that's very interesting that he said, and this will make you feel good as a Bears fan. Okay, so Caleb Williams, compare him to Jim Harbaugh, and this is quarterback rating 82.8, Eric Kramer 58.6, Jim Miller 64.5, Rex Grossman 58.2, Jay Cutler 66.6, Mitch Trubisky 79.5, Justin Fields 75.5. Caleb Williams has the best quarterback rating against the Packers at 91.1. All those quarterbacks I gave you from Harbaugh in the early 90s, to Kramer in 95, that electric season he had in 95 under Ron Turner, to Jim Miller, who was solid quarterback for the Bears, solid. Rex Grossman, who led the Bears to the Super Bowl, but so did the trainer. Jay Cutler, Mr. 500, Mitch Trubisky, Maserati Mitch, who never was able to get over, and the struggling Justin Fields. But Caleb Williams, 91.1 as far as quarterback rating against the Packers. Again, growth.
Yeah, definite growth. Definite. There's something different about him than those other quarterbacks. There's that confidence, but it's not that brash.
Yeah.
Like he's not cocky like Jay Cutler or some other quarterbacks. Rex had a little bit of a cockiness to him. He just has this just kind of chill, uber confidence that I can go in here and I can make these things happen and watch me make these things happen. The touchdown throw to DJ to win the game, he just kind of puts his hands in his pocket the moment he releases it, because in his mind he just knows, oh, this is a touchdown, game over, let's go party. Those are the things that raises his legend in this city. The whole Iceman, the chili thing, that he's doing now is fun to see. But that again speaks to his ability to be able to play in these games, especially these rivalry games against the Packers and your other division rivals, and be able to rise to that occasion and be able to play solid football. We didn't see a lot of it for most of this game, but we saw it when it absolutely positively had to have Caleb Williams step up and make throws. He made some incredible throws to end this game against the Packers.
Hey, make sure that you leave a comment. I see you guys in the chat checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood with Charles Taylor. It's Jonathan Hood with you. Go ahead and leave your comments. We'll be glad to read them on the air. We get super chats as well. Get into the super chat, and we can be able to put your thought right at the top and spend a lot of time with it here. So thanks so much for supporting what we do here Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So you want to go viral, Charles Taylor?
Let's
It's
do
just
it.
like you do. You always do it on your social media, on your TikTok and also on your Facebook and Threads and everywhere else that the report is. So let's start a fight.
Okay.
So if I asked you, Charles Taylor, if I said, so Charles, who's having a better year, Ben Johnson or Caleb Williams? You'd say, take your time. Hurry up, please.
Can we? And I can't say a tie. I can't say a tie. I got to choose one of them.
Hell no, you
Okay.
can't take a tie. What are we doing here? There's no tie. If I
I'm
asked
going
you,
to say Caleb.
Caleb's having a
I'm gonna
better
say
year
Caleb. Caleb's having a better year.
All right, tell
Caleb's
us
having a
why.
better year.
Why?
Because I think we all kind of knew what type of a coach Ben Johnson could be. Yes, he's a first-time, head coach, but I don't think there were a ton of questions to Ben Johnson's abilities to be able to, coach and grow a football team. There were tons of questions to Caleb Williams being drafted by the Bears. The Bears nation was almost split. You had the Justin, Fields brigade that wanted to, have Justin stay in Chicago. You have fans talking about, well, I don't think Caleb's going to, work out in the NFL. Look how he played at USC. He couldn't win at USC. He paints his fingernails, which I always thought was just idiotic. Get manicures, dudes. It's okay. It's 2025. Let's get some manicures. But there's all
mine done today.
See?
Mine's, yeah, but it's clear. I got the clear coat though.
That's cool. It works. It works.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But there were tons of questions. People were questioning, hey, should we take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams? Do you take Drake May over Caleb Williams? So there were a bunch of questions about him coming into the draft when he was drafted number 1 overall. And in his rookie season, he had a lot of bumps in the road. And I think unfairly the generational term got labeled on him. I don't think that helped his cause any. And then, there were some rough games last year where he just didn't play well. And we talked about he holds on to the ball too long. Maybe he's not seeing the field right, or getting the right feed, looking on to a wide receiver a bit too much. He has transformed himself from his rookie year to his second year, so much so to the point now where I don't think you'll find too many voices that's going to be like, nah, this is not the dude. This is not our guy. I think at least in Chicago, I think everyone's, kind of on the bandwagon, like, this is our dude. This is our franchise quarterback. Let's see where he can take us, over the next, 7+ years. Ben Johnson has done a remarkable job turning his team around because roster-wise, most of the guys from last year are still here. They've added some, talent and depth on the offensive line. You drafted a couple of receivers. Kyle Monangai looks like the steal of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
But I never questioned Ben Johnson's ability to be able to bring the best out of people. I think there was just more questions about whether or not Caleb could be a franchise quarterback, and he is literally proving everybody wrong right now. So the slight edge to Caleb
Williams. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that if I had my choice between Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, who's having a better season so far, there's no question it's that man, Ben Johnson. Here's why it's Ben Johnson. Okay, because Charles, you have to be able to set a standard. You see, if it was Caleb couldn't do this under Matt Eberflus in that previous regime. Caleb could not be able – I'm not saying that he couldn't have any comeback victories. I'm saying that you would not see growth in Caleb Williams under Eberflus, under Shane Waldron, under Coach Brown, and all that. There's no way that that would happen under Matt Eberflus if he was given another year. Ben Johnson had to be the one to set the standard in July in training camp, because I know that Caleb Williams, after in year one, after a game, going out, kicking it, having fun, all that, because he's a rookie, because he was not led, because there was no standards, there was no real coaching, no life coaching. And even Caleb today in the press conference was talking about how it was hard to be able to get a relationship going with Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson's all about football, all about it, right? He comes in as a first-year head coach after being able to help Jared Goff turn his career around in Detroit, help Detroit offensively, and now he comes to the Bears. And there's some things I don't like about Ben Johnson, and you know it, like I know it, about some things that he does that's just a head scratcher. But at the same time, Ben Johnson is the one that set that standard for Caleb Williams. Like, got to come early, got to leave late. You got to be able to get this playbook. You got to be able to understand what we're trying to do offensively. You ain't going to get it in game one, but what's going to happen is that you got to lead. And still, Caleb has some issues of being able to string together 4 quarters of production. You ain't going to score every time, but I'm just going to give Ben Johnson this much credit, is that at least there is a platform, there is an idea of what they want to do offensively, which I did not get 365 days ago. So I would just say that I'm giving Ben Johnson the edge, Charles, because he has a game plan that has been successful in Detroit to implement with these players. The other thing is like the real answer probably should be Ryan Poles, because Ryan Poles sonically changed the team by not doing what the Raiders did or what the Jets did or what the Titans have done, and just like, here's a player here and here's a player there, here's a player like, there's like, here's the offensive line, whoosh, and here's 3 or 4 different weapons for Caleb, whoosh, and now here's a whole bunch of guys that don't give a damn that are demanding on this coaching staff, along with Ben Johnson. Then we're going to just give you some scrap heap guys here or there on defense, just to try to piecemeal a bad defense together, a bad defensive line together, and then here's what you got. So probably the real answer is Ryan Poles, but I'm going to give it to Ben, because without Ben, what's the standard, for Caleb Williams and the Bears offensively? Make sense?
No, it makes a ton of sense. It's amazing. We were ready with pitchforks for Ryan Poles 365 days ago, but he has transformed this team. He brought in the right guy to coach this football team. Kind of a no nonsense, like you said, all about football. Lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, football. And he was absolutely the right coach to try to bring the best out of Caleb. But I also think that this is why I'm still giving Caleb just a slight edge here. Caleb, while he had to kind of understand who Ben Johnson is as a man and as a coach, there's still something inside of him that he also needed to flip a switch and say, hey, I can't just, rely on what's gotten me here so far, playing through USC and getting to the NFL and being the number 1 overall pick. If I'm going to be this dude that, some people were saying, hey, I be generational, there's some things about me that I got to, change and get deeper into the playbook and get deeper into, really watching film. I know he didn't have all of that a year ago, and that definitely speaks to coaching.
Yeah.
But his determination to want to learn and to grow and to become a better football player, starts with him inside himself. Ben Johnson, led him to the led him to teach him how to fish. He still got to learn how to fish on his own at some point. So it's a hand-in-hand marriage, and it's working, so far, working almost perfectly. But the slight edge is he still has to go out there and do these things out there on the football field. and he's doing it.
We are presented by Triller TV. Again, the best in combat sports, whether it's pro wrestling, boxing, MMA, it's all there. Triller TV. Make sure you download the app and you're right in there with that. So even though we're still in the afterglow of the Bears and their victory against the Green Bay Packers, we got to get ready for Sunday Night Football. Both teams have clinched, they're locked in, the Bears and the 49ers. But, you know, Charles, as you well know, there's stars everywhere, but there's only a few stars on TikTok that can be able to break down football the way our next guest does, right? Follow her on we're on YouTube, so go to YouTube right now, LL Sports 2, the number 2, TJ, because TJ, the big San Francisco 49ers fan, is spending time with us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood right here as we talk about the Bears. TJ, it is Charles and Jay Hood. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry I was late.
No, absolutely. And again, we went to you because you're the 49ers fan. The Bears are taking on the 49ers soon, and you are lighting it up on TikTok. Tell people where they can find you on TikTok, because there's a lot of NFL conversation going on every day with you.
Yes, it is. You can find me on TikTok at LL Sports 2 TJ. And like you said, that's the number 2. So it's just LL Sports 2 TJ. Yes, and I'm on at usually 4:30 to about 7:30 or 8 in the evening Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So Charles, let's talk a little bit about the Bears and 49ers.
All right.
Charles, go right ahead. Start us off, because big game as far as the Bears, as you well know, playing the 49ers in San Francisco is a house of horrors over the years for the Bears playing out there. Yeah. So let's talk about it.
So TJ, I do want to talk about the 49ers. With them also being 11-4, they've had a host of injuries throughout the year. How have they been able to keep this together to get to this 11-4 record that they're at? Because it's a ton of injuries. You're talking about Brock Purdy, injuries on your defense. How have they been able to keep it together?
4 words: Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh. It's just that simple. The mentality, I believe, that the 49ers have, the culture that they have. They were even talking about it during the game, and they were talking about how if you are a selfish player, you will not thrive, and you won't be there actually in the 49ers organization. It is all about, in my opinion, teamwork, the man wanting to help the man beside him. And I think it's just the culture that Shanahan, and I should say John Lynch as well, that they've created there, because it is literally next man up.
It has to be when you deal with injuries and keeping it together. I'll say this, so when we talk about the top coaches, TJ, in the National Football League, you'd be hard pressed not to be able to put Shanahan in that top 5. When the 49ers win, sure, and you are celebrating when you see the 49ers win, but what is it about Shanahan that just seemingly makes a difference for this football team?
Like I said, it seems like it's just the way that he has this team together. Now, I have to be honest with y'all. Shanahan, sometimes he makes us scratch our head and things that make you go home. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes he can get a little predictable in his play calling, which is very frustrating, because if the fans can see it, then we know that the opposing team see it. But at the end of the day, though, like I said, it kind of sounds like a broken record, but it just feels like it's the culture that he's built there. You obviously have to know the system to be, to play on the field, so that you can't be out there if you don't know what you're doing. And then, just like I said, the way that they play for each other. He is that man until we get to the Super Bowl. I'm just gonna.
We're gonna find out. And then what are you gonna do once you get there? What are you gonna do? That's the question. If you get there, you're gonna hold the lead and win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a big question, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's the big question. He is the man until we get to the Super Bowl. When we get to the Super Bowl, it's like, what happened, Kyle? Why aren't you doing what got us there? So yeah, we scratch our heads. Yeah, we should have 7 at this point, but we don't.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, there's not Montana to Rice anytime soon on the team, but you do have Brock Purdy, you do have George Kittle. You know what I'm concerned about in this game, Charles, is like so. As we mentioned before, it was a bend don't break defense for the Bears against the Green Bay Packers, right? Like even though Malik Willis comes out there, he runs with the football, dinks and dunks, and still was able to get a touchdown. The Bears defense came to play. It was a banner day for the defense, but I'm pretty sure it will not be that easy Sunday night against San Francisco because if nothing else, it's about the system with Brock Purdy, right? It's about what they do offensively. So what do you think of that matchup? It's San Francisco who put up 48 against the Colts Monday against this Bears defense. I don't think it's going to be as easy. I'm pretty much guaranteed.
No, it's not going to be as easy because of the system that the 49ers run. Brock Purdy has mastered that system. I know there were plenty of questions about him, in years past, but he's been able to really lock himself into the system. And while they don't have necessarily a number one guy to go to, if you're not going to count, Kittle, they've got weapons, and so you kind of have to key on those other weapons that they have. And then there's also Christian McCaffrey back
Yeah.
there. Purdy has options to go to, and I think unlike the Packers, where if you can slow down their run game, you can kind of put them in a bind because now you force Jordan Love to throw, and while he's a good quarterback, you can get him to make mistakes. Brock Purdy just seems to have other options or fail safes that he can go to kind of keep him away from having to play hero ball. And the fact that, again, injury wise, their defense is still making plays. That's the other part of it. They're missing key pieces. The 49ers are on their defense, and they're still able to get turnovers. They're still able to get pressure on the quarterback. That it's kind of can be a scary matchup. The Bears are really going to have to be opportunistic on defense. And this may be one of those games, kind of like that Bengals game that we watched a few weeks ago, where Caleb may have to match Brock Purdy touchdown for touchdown.
Gonna have to. I just thought, TJ, that was what we call in this country elder abuse, what you did to Phillip Rivers and the Colts. That ain't right, what y'all did. I mean, that's an old man there trying to fit his head, over that helmet, and for y'all to beat him down like that was wrong.
Jonathan, Charles, we didn't tell him to come out there on the field. Now we can only play the man that's in front of us.
Uh-huh.
So if anybody should be at fault, that is the Colts organization. You need to talk to the Earthsakes.
That was brutal what y'all did, but I will just, but it scares me because I know how good the 49ers are offensively and how electric that you guys are. I mean, speak to what we were just talking about, TJ, because again, because of the system, Brock Purdy and this offense running the football, you got a tight end, you got several wide receivers you can go to. I mean, it could be a scary offense.
It can, and I think that is what was put on display last night.
Yeah.
Shanahan finally went into, like Purdy said after the game, he went into his bag. And we were able to see all of the weapons that we do have to use, because I don't know if y'all watch a lot of 49er football, but 9 times out of 10, it's CMC.
Mhm.
And then we'll have a Kittle thrown in here, or we'll have a Bourne thrown in there or something like that. But it's normally CMC. I felt like this was the most balanced that the offense played in quite a while. Also, I felt like we got contributions from all facets. Special teams, defense showed up. Upton Stout, our rookie, I cannot commend him enough. Of course, the pick six by D Winters, but and then the pressure that Collins got on Rivers, but with our secondary being so young, a lot, and nobody expected us to do anything really at the beginning of the season, either way, because of how young our defense is. But I just felt like we got a overall good turnout from all three facets. But the game on Sunday night, I mean, I'm worried about Caleb and y'all's the running game that y'all can possess. Because I did want to ask, what did you feel like, or what do you guys feel like our Achilles heel is, like what you can exploit from the Niners on Sunday. But like I said, I think if we utilize all of our weapons on offense, I think we'll be good. But we have a hard time with the run, and we have a hard time with mobile quarterbacks. So we're gonna have to play fundamental football.
Well, we specialize in those two things you just talked about.
I know.
So outside of the fourth quarter heroics, like we've seen 6 times this year from the Bears, especially an all-timer, we are still celebrating by it. We still drunk here in Chicago about Saturday because the Packers, right?
As y'all
It's just
should
what it
be.
is. We're still drunk. We are still happy about the Bears beating the Packers because, for a lot of people, TJ, the only thing that really matters is that headline: Bears win, Packers lose. That's the thing that a lot of people look forward to. They look forward to the game, and so that's the thing they look forward to. But speaking of this game, so I'd expect for the Bears to be able to continue to do what they've been doing and running the football with a rookie Monangai and also with DeAndre Swift. Also, Caleb Williams happens to utilize his legs a lot. He's doing a lot more this year than he did last year, running for first downs. He'll throw the ball out of bounds. He'll just keep drives alive. Hard to sack that guy because he throws the ball away. He does not take sacks and with a strong offensive line in front of him. So, Charles, you tell me. To me, it looks like Odunze and Burton more than likely will not be playing the wide receivers for the Bears again. I don't think they're needed Sunday, but this could be, once again, if not DJ Moore, tight ends like Loveland and Komet, and then some other unsung heroes. I feel like that formula could be the same on Sunday. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. It's actually kind of funny how these two offenses mirror each other.
Yeah.
They use their run games. We have a two-headed monster in Swift and Monangai. That's one of the best running games in the NFL, powered by this offensive line that really just likes to get physical with the opposing defensive line and really just like push them back. This is what they thrive on. So if they're able to do that, that frees up Caleb to do a whole host of things, where you can find a DJ Moore, where you can find a Colston Loveland, where you can find Cole Komet. So even with Luther Burton and Rome Odunze out, Caleb still got options to use. He can also use Monangai and Swift out of the backfield, in the short passing game. So there are things that Ben Johnson should be able to do with this 49ers defense, and they are aggressive. They like to get after you. But I think that can be exploited if they try to maybe hone in or try to stop in the run game. I think Caleb can exploit that secondary. Vice versa, the thing that the 49ers fans are concerned about with their young secondary is kind of the things that the Bears fans are concerned about with a bit of our secondary. Jalen Johnson's been out pretty much most of the year. Kyler Gordon's been out pretty much most of the year. So our secondary, has some challenges in front of them. We've been susceptible to the run on defense throughout the year. So it's funny how these two teams mirror each other. It's really going to come down to execution. Who can execute their game plan the best? I think the Bears, if they can continue to remain opportunistic on defense in terms of takeaways, because that's also been a key to help Caleb, get the offense going. You get that turnover, especially if you get it early, and the Bears can score and capitalize on that. That could put a thought in the minds of the 49ers, like, hey, we really need to, take care of and protect this ball. Get them to try to come out of their offensive element a little bit, as opposed to what we had to see on Saturday night, where the Bears were kind of out of their element, being taken advantage of by the Packers.
Or TJ, Purdy can throw for 5 touchdowns and beat the Bears' ass. That also could be a possibility.
That would be lovely. I would love a repeat. I cannot tell a lie. I mean, and honestly, if I could piggyback on what you were saying, Jonathan, about the still being drunk off of Saturday night and the headline, that's really what I was hoping for. I picked the Bears to win because I wanted them to be so elated that they got their nemesis, and then they might come in a little laxed versus losing to the Packers and then being like, oh, it's on. So I'm hoping that y'all still have a little of that hangover of, oh yeah, we got the Packers. Okay. Yeah, that's really where our mind was at. I don't know
Yeah.
how realistic that is, but it's keeping me going.
Well, during this Christmas season, there's always wishes. You can always wish for that. I think and again, to me, you tell me. I think that this feels like it's on the defense to be able to show something. Charles, I've been saying this all season. I've been saying since July. The defense has to be able to make plays. So let's just see what the defense does against an offense that works well for San Francisco, right? So that's the thing I look forward to. Like I could see a takeaway because Deshaun Wright's gonna be in there, or it's gonna be Kevin Byard or someone. They are ball hawks, yes, but it's about the defensive line. They have not been able to get home all season long on a regular basis. If Purdy gets the ball out quickly, because he understands like 2.5 seconds or less, ball's got to get out, right? No matter what, it's got to get out. So that's a detriment to the Bears' defensive line. So offensively speaking, I don't worry about the Bears as much, but I am concerned about how productive and how efficient the 49ers offense is. So that's my concern, TJ.
Yeah. I would and like you said, like what Charles was saying, we do mirror each other.
Yeah.
And so because we are void of a pass rush, it's I'm just hoping that Caleb won't pick us apart, whether it's with his legs or getting the ball out. Now, because you guys play from behind a lot, because what do they call y'all, the cardiac comeback kids and all that?
The cardiac bears. Yes.
Yeah, cardiac bears. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would like to think that if we are able to get a lead, that we could keep the lead. Didn't work out so much with the Tennessee Titans, but with different beasts. But I'm just worried about my defense. I really am. So if we can, and Purdy limiting, because sometimes Purdy can let the ball sail. And he thinks that the receivers are 8 feet tall, and like, Purdy, who are you throwing to? Well, who do you really think was going to catch that? So if he could just stay contained, but I do love his decision making. I love the fact that if he gets to first route, second route is out, he's gone. And so I do love his decision making, his precision. I think he's a very accurate quarterback. So it's this game is going to be on Kyle, his offensive prowess, playbook schemes, and the defense. Can we do our job, in the words of Bill Belichick? Just don't get out of position. I don't mind if we get the PIs, pass calls and stuff like that, because then that means we're being aggressive. Let's just at least be in be in it. I don't want the wide receivers just wide open running, to the end zone, or wide open on the side. That's what I don't want. But I'll take a couple of PI flags.
A couple of things, TJ, I want to find out from this week. What has been the conversation on your TikTok every day when you talk about the NFL? What's the hot topics that there's? Because it's a flurry. It's a lot of stuff thrown at you. I do talk shows, but I don't have a flurry of people like coming at me every 2.5 seconds about the NFL. So I take it as an older gentleman, as you know, Charles, one segment at a time, right? One thought at a time. Like for you, for 4 hours, it's just like Atlanta Falcons this and like Patriots and like Raiders draft, and then like it goes fast, right? Kansas City Chiefs, what are we gonna do? So what's the hot topic on your show this week that people have asked you about?
Mostly this week I've been having Bears. They wouldn't let us get past the Colts first. Yeah, the Bears keep talking about bear down and what they're going to do to us. And I've asked them to just please wait. And they did. They waited to today. I didn't even get a chance to, lavish in my win. But really, they've been talking about the DK Metcalf. I was really surprised at the division. Some people were, really for the suspension, and some people were against it. The people that were for it, I was a little surprised. But yeah, the DK Metcalf, that story really was a hot topic on Monday.
DK Metcalf in that Steelers-Lions game, he's over against the wall, and some fan leans over. I don't know what was said, don't know what was done, but I know that Metcalf didn't like it and took a swing at him. So it's a 2-game suspension. Is that official?
Yes.
2-game
Yes.
suspension. And
Yeah. He was appealing today.
So the topic is like, is this a fan that's been going after you before? And again, as fans, some of us can be fanatics, whether you are intoxicated or not. Some want to be able to get into the heads of the athlete. What I would say to that with DK Metcalf is, hey man, remember you're one of one. And even though I'm a fan, he's a fan like every other 70,000 people there. He doesn't matter. Does not matter what he says. Remember, you have to take care of you and yours. And so no matter whatever he says, if you're giving oxygen to that fan, then you're no better than the fan. Even though words hurt, but at the same time, though, just remember that guy's not going to be penalized as much as you will. He lost a lot of money for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Oh,
yeah.
Charles, I don't know. Do you want to comment on that first?
Yeah, he's Hood. You're right about that. That's like you said, 70,000 idiots. In the stand. You gotta, and I know it's hard to do sometimes, and keeping your cool. But you got 52 other guys, that wear the same uniform as you, that need you out there on the field playing. You got to think about those guys. You got to think about your coaching staff in those type of situations. They were in a heated contest. I get that, but now what do you do to your team that you're out for the next 2 games, while the Steelers are literally trying to hold on to their precarious lead in the AFC North. Those are the kind of things you got to think about a little bit more than trying to get into it with the fan. And no matter how obnoxious they can be, and they can be, some of these fans can be obnoxious. You got to think about the team, the overall goal, the bigger picture. In that game, suppose the refs had thrown them out, right then and there, with that. Now you're at a disservice to your team, who's, in the fight of their life with the Lions, just to try to sneak out a win, in Detroit. I just, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, he's got to be a little bit better in that situation.
TJ, if you need a light, I got one. Did you need a light in there?
I know, right?
Okay.
It's been going for 5 hours now, so I guess he said, "Hold on, TJ, I need a break." So it broke on me, but I'm back.
Well, I got you if you needed it. So yeah. So give us your thoughts on that too, because that is a hot button topic.
Yeah, and in total honesty, I am still torn.
Yeah.
For the 2-game suspension, I thought it was excessive. When I look at and read the backstory, apparently this same fan he's had issues with going back to Seattle. 3 different occurrences playing the Lions. With that right there, why is that fan still able to be in a position to agitate a DK Metcalf? That's kind of where I was going, how I was feeling on yesterday. Because they can't protect themselves. I mean, I thought that's what the security at the stadium was for. I thought that, the NFL, they are there to protect the fans. So if you are constantly being barraged by this same person, and then to know, because I thought that was his seat in the front row, but no, he came down from his seat. Apparently he's like 5-6 rows up, and he comes down to that space to agitate. But then I found out that DK Metcalf did come from the bench, and he walked over there and everything. So, I mean, I still think that the 2 games is excessive, because if this is a repetitive issue at this point, the Lions somebody needs to do something with this fan. He should not have the privilege to just be rogue, attacking the players, because a lot of times I think that these fans and people, how they say the customer is always right. Or you have those people that have the keyboard courage, and they think because they know that nothing can happen to them, so they just go ahead and do what they feel like they can do. No, you will come across the wrong player. Like if that was Jalen Ramsey or somebody. I mean, I'm not saying that it would have gotten worse, but I mean, let's just be real. You come
Yeah.
across the wrong player, and it's
Yeah.
not going to end as well. But then what really stuck with me though, y'all, was the reaction from the fans around him.
Mhm.
If y'all go back and look, nobody was offended, upset, appalled. Because, normally when a fan is attacked like that, they're like, oh, trying to grab it. Everybody just sat there like, thank you. Somebody get him. That's how I felt. So, like I said, it's just a lot of different moving parts in it, but he was wrong. I do not condone him, putting his hands on the man, because like you said, who's the one that has the most to lose? DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're dealing with a grown black man
Yeah,
who has his limits.
that's right.
So
Leave your comments, by the way, as we have our conversation under the hood with Jonathan Hood. We've got super chats as well, but check it out. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. We do it under the hood with Jonathan Hood. I want to get your predictions, TJ and CJ, about this game. But first, TJ, I want you to tell our audience about the origin story of you being a San Francisco fan. Where did this start for you?
it started 98. So long story short, I've always been a football fan ever since I was little. My dad, he played football in college. Nothing pro or anything like that, but we always loved watch football. There was only one TV in the house back when I was growing up. So I fell in love with the sport, and I always loved players. So I didn't have like a set team. And then in 96, I met someone, fell in love with the team, and left the man. End of story.
You left the man, but kept the team.
Kept the team.
How does that
I was
happen?
invested at that point. Even if I would have tried to leave and go to another team, they'd have been like, "Oh no, what is this? What is it?" So yeah. But I kept the team. But when I tell you, God moves in order, and everything happens for a reason. I've met some of the greatest people, longtime friends from being 49er fans. So it all happened in His order.
Amen. Charles, do you have a follow-up?
I'm just wondering how
TJ.
how she got to keep the team in the split up. That's
Well, I mean, I kept the team for myself. And luckily, we're still good friends to this day. So it wasn't. We had to work our way back to that, but that's the thing. But no, I just I fell in love with the Niners. I really did. And short story, because like I said, I used to like players, right? So and you might find this hard to believe, but I like to talk a lot of junk, right? And so I would just dig in. When the 49ers lose, I'd be like, yeah, your team. He'd be like, no, it's too soon. And I'm like, are they paying you? Why are you so upset? Fast forward 2 years later, now I'm watching the game with my mom. And I'm like, she's like, oh, that team sucks. And, Mom, too soon.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
and at that time, and I swear, y'all, it's like at that time it hit me. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah. Sometimes your favorite team, when they lose, it's like a death in the family.
yeah.
So it is, especially college. It's even worse. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, so I know whenever we lose, you might as well just shutter the businesses in Athens for 7 days. It's crazy. It's the way it is.
Exactly.
D.A. Steely, always a big fan here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, says that Bears fans will always have a soft spot for Niner Nation. Thanks for giving Robbie Gould a home to beat the Packers in the playoffs. Yeah, Robbie Gould is ours, but when he's with the 49ers, I think Bears fans are still rooting for the 49ers because Robbie Gould was on the team. Is that fair, Charles, to say? Like,
Yeah,
people are rooting for Robbie Gould no matter where he went.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I don't think there's any like bad blood between the Bears and the Niners. I don't think there ever has been. Even back in the mid '80s when they were clashing with each other to get to the Super Bowl. I think there's always been that respect thing between those two teams, and it's going to be a fun game coming up Sunday night. So this is not going to be like how we are acting with Packers fans over the past few days, telling them to suck it up and get over it. But this will be a different type of vibe with the 49ers fans. Again, just mutual respect.
Yeah.
So
we hate to see Gold leave.
Yeah. So as we close, Charles, you go. As a matter of fact, TJ, you start first. Charles, after. I just want the predictions. Like what happened Sunday? I think we all take a score as well. I'll just step aside and let you guys battle this out. But TJ, first, tell us like what you expect in the game and what the score is going to be on Sunday night.
I am expecting a close game. Okay, I don't think either one of us will this will be a runaway. So I'm not expecting what happened with the Colts. Um, I think it's going to be whoever takes care of the ball the best. Um, I am looking for sound fundamental football from my offensive line. If they can play the way they did, I say it'll be 34 31
Hmm.
Niners.
All right. TJ, I'm like you. I think this is going to be a close game. Of the 15 games the Bears have played, um, they only two of their four losses have been by 7 points or more. So what that tells you is this game is going to come down basically to the fourth quarter. The Bears,
Hmm.
their defense is opportunistic. They're not going to let a game really get away from them.
Hmm.
So they're going to come up with plays on the defensive end to keep the Bears in the game. It is going to come down to how well Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams can get this offense going. I think we're going to have to match the 49ers touchdown for touchdown. I think it's just going to be one of these type of kind of back and forth games.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna go out there and think and say that the Bears are gonna get a tight win.
Hmm.
I'm looking like 31-28, maybe a last second field goal on a Caleb Williams drive that gets us a field goal range for us to win the game,
Hmm.
or even a last second Caleb Williams touchdown to put the Bears out in front. This is gonna be it's gonna be a tough game. I think it's gonna be physical, and I think you're gonna
Hmm.
see both offenses really shine. In this game. It's a back and forth nature. And we're all just going to be sitting there on the edge of our seats trying to figure out. It may come down to whoever has the ball last wins. And hopefully it's the Bears. So
Right.
I'm going 31-28 Bears.
Okay. All right.
Both y'all putting up some classics. It's gonna be y'all both believe it's gonna be a classic
Oh
at the
yes.
end.
Game
That's
of the
crazy.
week.
Yeah.
Game of the week. Yes.
No
Yes.
sleep for the weary. Okay, well, it's gonna be a late one. If it's gonna take that much time, boy, that's gonna be a great game between the Bears and 49ers. So, TJ, again, as we close, tell people about where they can find you because you got a show every day. You're doing the Lord's work, all that NFL talk from coast to coast, people reaching out to you, talking about their team, and you have to solve their problems with their team. So please tell people.
Yes. Well, first, again, Jonathan, thank you. I feel honored that you reached out and that you asked me to be on your show. I truly thank you for the time. But yes, they can find me on TikTok, 4:30 p.m. And I usually, it's until really, but I usually go till about 8. But it's Monday through Saturday. Sundays are mine. I can't, everybody says, "Well, do you go live with?" No, no, no. My nerves can't take that. But yeah, Monday through Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, at LL Sports 2. That's the number 2 TJ.
We'll put that in the description of the podcast so people can be able to follow along. But we're glad
Yes.
we want to get the 49ers perspective as the Bears take on the 49ers on Sunday Night Football on a big platform. So again, I watch your stuff every day and I'm like, you know what? When we get the 49ers week, I was in the comments saying, I'm going to hit you. I want to make sure that you hit you up and I want to make sure that you're on the show. So I'm glad that you're a part of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. Bang, bang. Not a game.
All right. That'll be
All
fine.
right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
There she is, TJ. And she had to shoot us on the way out. Can you believe
Right.
that? She shot us
I'm
on
good
the
with
way
that. That's cool. That's cool.
It's so great to have her on the show to give the perspective right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So, sir, as we close, I'd like to find out what is as I'm checking out. I don't smell anything in the kitchen, nothing wafting. Like where's I mean, back in the day, mom, dad, grandma, grandfather, aunt, they would always have something like, started, get the
Yeah.
meal started. That way on the 25th it's all taken care of. I don't smell anything wafting in the Taylor household. What's going on there?
Yeah, that all happens tomorrow night. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow night. Maybe even Christmas morning. We'll get the ham out, a little mac and cheese, some yams, whatever the boss decides is on the menu is what's going to be on the menu.
You mispronounced chitlins. I didn't hear chitlins.
No, that definitely will not be on the menu. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
What about this? What about that, man? Wait a minute.
She hates them, and I do too. To be quite honest. So yeah, that smell will not be emanating from our house. I'm sorry.
I was talking to cousin Wiley about this a couple of days ago, about how our grandparents and our relatives had to be able to get the scraps, right?
Mm-hmm.
They crawl so we could be able to run when it comes to food, right? So whatever the scraps that were given when you're slaves or have very little that you can eat, you took the scraps, the stuff that was thrown away, and made it a delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I totally understand why they did that at the time, but they brought those menus and that recipe north with them, right? So whatever they were doing in the South, they brought it up here to the North, and just like, no, I don't want to eat chitlins. I don't want to have pigtails. I'd rather not, right? But that's what it was. So I mean, that's not happening today in my house. But there was a time where the people that were from the South, your family, what is it? Is it Tennessee?
Mississippi.
Okay, yeah. Mississippi. My family from Arkansas, same thing, man. Just like some of that stuff. I told you that story of Uncle LC, my uncle. Did I not tell you that story?
No, I don't think you did.
I didn't. My Uncle Lucius, for the holidays, would always go hunting. He lived in McNabb, Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he would go hunting for the holidays. This was his perfect time, man. A little Thanksgiving, Christmas. And so whatever that he shot, he would bring into the station wagon and drive up that 2-lane highway to Chicago from Little Rock, pretty much to Chicago. The night before Christmas or the night before Thanksgiving, there he goes driving all night. And he finally gets to the house. And he, of course, back in the day, it's the back door, not the front door. Hits that buzzer on the back. Must be LC. Drove all night, 11 hours, whatever it was, from Arkansas, right? And he'd say, May, I got something for the table. I know that you already was cooking, but I got something for the table. And she'd say, okay, LC, what do you got? And he'd have the bag. And there would be something moving in the bag that he had shot 24 hours ago. And he'd say, excuse me, goes to our backyard, kick, and take care of it and go, okay, it's ready now.
Oh, man.
So that thing was moving in the truck for 11 hours. You didn't know. And then you're going to try to give it to us? Yes.
Hey, whatever works back in the day, that's what you had to do.
It's so ridiculous, man. Just like how my upbringing is just the things I saw, Charles. Just like, excuse me, let me go to the back. And he got his Winchester, shot him in our backyard, and like, okay, the pheasant will be ready by the time we go to dinner. Like, so who's getting the buckshots out? Who's removing the feathers? No, who's cooking that thing?
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Our family will cook that thing. That's what it would be. It's just like what in the hell? What do you mean it wasn't dead? I mean, like that's how it would be, man. Just like all of a sudden, this rabbits are in his bag and like all the stuff. I mean, but this is what happens when you live in the South, right? That's just just part of it. The hood household, and it had to be ready by the time dinner was ready. It was.
My Uncle John loves to go hunting, either for deer or a rabbit or duck, but he at least makes sure it's dead, before he brings it in the house.
Listen, man, there's nothing like being able to hunt when you've had a couple of belts of moonshine underneath you, right? No still, just made. Yeah. Just like there's no, not like the stuff you get at Benny's,
right?
On the bottom shelf. No. Like out the still, right, in the backyard, in the woods where he lived, right?
Yeah.
Couple of, out the mason jar, of course.
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
gotta have the mason jar.
Absolutely.
A couple of belts in the mason jar, and all of a sudden, like, oh, there's a fez. Here comes Christmas dinner. Like I said, our families crawled so we can be able to have luxury meals in our home instead of doing that shit. It's ridiculous.
We now have the option to say, not F chitlins. We out.
Yeah,
no more.
We have an option now. Back then, no option. It's whatever they shot, you ate.
That's
whatever
it.
they caught, you ate.
Oh man.
Back in the day when you would bring up to my family catch and release when it comes to fishing, they thought that was a prison reform program. Catch release, like, you mean we gotta like give the fish up? Oh
no, who does that?
Whatever. You know what? Our guy Chauncey from Chauncey's Outdoors, our outdoors guy's been doing the show for 25 years. I was like, he always says, Hoodie, you want to go fishing with me? And I'm like, yeah. I said, but I'm not all about that catch release stuff, man. I didn't grow up with that. He goes, oh, whatever I catch, I'm eating. Are you kidding me? I'm like, you, Chauncey? I thought that you did it for being a sportsman. I thought you were a sportsman. Like, nah. He was like, nah, he's about it. So Charles, none of this catch release stuff. This is not a prison reform program. It's actually put in the cooler and you clean it and you eat it. That's how that is.
That's the only way I knew how to do it. But
that would make me mad when I watch those fishing shows. They would do that shit. Like Babe Winkleman, right? You've seen that before, right? The old fishing shows. You can't have relatives from the South and not watch a fishing show, Charles. You have to be able to see. I mean, it's been on at least one time, right? Turn it on.
At least
they get in this luxury boat and they go fishing, and they get this big like carp and like this big bluegills or whatever it is, right? Big fish, and like, well, that's a big one. They take a picture and then they throw it back. You know how that made my late father mad? You know how mad he was when he saw that shit? When they threw that. Now that's a sportsman in you. You're supposed to do that, but that's not how he was raised.
No, you shoot. You eat whatever you shoot. You eat whatever you catch. That's how it works. That's the real sport. Who gives it back? Like, really?
Oh God. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give the Bulls a reprieve tonight because we've had so much. Yes, we've had so much of a good time talking about the Chicago Bears. The Bears on the precipice of being the NFC North champions. We'll see what happens on Sunday. This is not an easy test against the 49ers at all.
No.
We can be bold with TJ and talk a bit about our Bears, but this is a tough game, so we're gonna find what happens. But I'm just excited. I'm excited about what is going on with this Chicago Bears team. I really am. I'm excited about what the future holds, not just this year, but next year too. But I just want to see step by step. And by the way, we should mention, because I've not talked to you about this, you just ran in from work, thank goodness, to be part of our show today. The Pro Bowl selections. I know that there's some already on social media that are complaining about snubs and all that. Man, I'm just happy that the Bears have players that you can say, hey, people look at the Bears and feel like they belong in the Pro Bowl. There was 3 that were selected, 3 that you would think, and that is Drew Dahlman at center, Joe Thuney, the guard, and Kevin Byard at safety.
Those are 3 excellent choices. I mean, who would you say was snubbed? Really,
Darnell Wright, who's had a hell of a game. He
has. Yeah.
He played with a split.
Yeah.
On this, I mean, so Darnell Wright, and again, it's not about the Bears. It's about the NFL, right? There's so many talented players in this league. Darnell Wright did not get in. Jonah Jackson, at offensive guard, did not get in. But again, it's a lot of talented offensive linemen out there. Like it's good the Bears have 2. And then Nahshon Wright, corner.
I can see that one because he has had an incredible year. But there are a lot of talented corners out there too. I don't know if I would have necessarily, like who do you take out to put him in, from that standpoint. But now kudos to the Bears for getting 3 Pro Bowlers in, and hopefully that number grows as the team we all hope and feel will grow and get better, next year.
So you saw cousin Wiley jump up in his head. If you got family from the South, you've seen a lot of fishing shows and westerns. That is for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And Young and the Restless.
Yeah, that's a lot. I would tell you, my late father would have loved today's cable, where you have dedicated channels just for westerns. Like there's a channel called Grit, 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 that just has all these spaghetti westerns from like the 50s on, 24 hours a day. Like that's bananas. Like you got the 1 hour back in the day, like a Lone Ranger or like a wagon train, something like that, right? 24/7, just westerns. Like that would drive me insane.
Yeah.
Last thing I have for you, sir. If I told you there's a player on the Bears that had 67 tackles, 11 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 quarterback hurry, and 1 touchdown, do you think that person should be in the Pro Bowl?
Those are hell of the stats. They definitely should be under consideration.
Yeah, that's Nahshon Wright.
That man is playing him. That man is going to have a huge contract once his deal is done. He has played himself into a lot of money.
Not bad for someone that was on like the practice squad a year ago.
Yeah.
Unsung heroes, bro. Unsung heroes. So I want to just wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. I can say that to you. And a Happy New Year. We're going to talk again real soon, but thankful for you to spend time with us on Under the Hood, and for you to break out of your Bulls jail to talk to me about the Chicago Bears. I know you've been itching for that quietly. Why does Hood keep having me on about the Bulls? Why does he aggravate me? Why is he allowed? But at least now you can be at ease talking about the Bears. It's a good podcast today.
No, it was a good podcast, but the reason why you have me on for the Bulls is because you want me to crash out, which is fine. Totally fine. You want me to crash out, and that's good. But no, it was good to talk about the Bears. And again, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. And I hope everything is just awesome for you. Happy to be a part. Can I put correspondent of the Under the Hood podcast? On my byline.
Yes, yeah, you corresponded, absolutely. Writer, journalist. For us, Under the Hood with Jonathan. And please tell people where they can find you on your socials as you crash out about the Bulls in Atlanta tonight.
Oh, good grief. YouTube, TikTok, Threads. Those are 3 main places that you can find me and my thoughts about these Bulls and the Bears as well.
Yes. So I just want to make sure that this is a better night for you, talking about the Bears instead of the Bulls. So guys, thank you so much for your support of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your family. Yeah, we're locked in talking about the Bears and the 49ers and everything else regarding this Bears team, because we're talking about a playoff team now. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
This is so much better doing these shows than 365 days ago when we were talking about coaches being fired and the draft and all that stuff. Hey, thank you so much for making this channel grow and helping us out on the podcast as well. For Charles Taylor, it's Jonathan Hood. And for TJ, we found TJ on TikTok that broke down the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers. It's great to have her on as well. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Until then, so long for now. So long, everybody.